Ever since a baby, I've been trying to get away, trying to lock in the guap, trying to block with the pain. I'm a blind little boss, I'm on top of the game. I've been tired in the lot, now I'm tossing your bait. Yeah, my pops got caught, didn't lock them away. My mom fought hard 5 jobs in a day. I'll be dropping the box, but I'm copping the pain. We out for the stars, we're a tropical place. Ooh, yeah, I'm spitting it heavy, the mission is steady. Your bitches are jelly, I'm ditching the petty. You're digging for pennies, I'm itching to ready. I open my heart when I listen to Shetty. I'm bold like a boss, but I'm little like Debbie. I know what the boss, I got richer than Getty. I'm holding the guap and I'm whipping the Yeti, yeah, Kari can play with advanced moves. I'm fucking my girl and her man too. I'm taking the ball like the Rand do. My soul is the one that I can't lose. I soak up the sun like a sand dune. I'm holding up love with the bamboo. I'm rolling the blunt by the candle. Taking the game, running it back without taking a drink. Yeah, I'm the one and I'm making a wave. Rolling the blunt and I'm blazing a J. I'm escaping the brain, go straight for the cake. I'ma take to the bank, now taking a break. I'm made for the race, I pray for the day. I wake with a bake in a great estate.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Yankee and the Brit. It's Thursday night pregame show, and I have to say quick, the bars in the intro when she says, I'm opening a box because I'm little like Debbie, got to be the best bars ever.
Yeah.
You guys have little Debbies? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, man. No, that's not been me.
They're like different types of sweets that come in like a box of 8. So there's different types of like cookies or brownies or different types of things called Little Debbie's. So when she says I'm opening a box and I'm little like Debbie, I was like, that's
pretty, yeah, that sounds good. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Thursday night pregame show. I'm not in the best mood, not gonna lie, doing this one. I'm gonna keep it together for you guys. I've been on delayed trains all day, everybody. So I'm currently, the reason I'm on my phone is, and you might be able to see my breath at different points, it's currently 2 degrees. I'm sat on a train station platform in Yorkshire, freezing my arse off. It's 2 degrees Celsius, by the way, everybody. You can convert that however you like. But yeah, let's get into the show. It is good to be in front of you all again.
Freezing in Celsius is 0?
Yeah.
32 is freezing here, so...
Right, so around there, that's what temperature I'm sat outside in doing the show on my phone right now. So if I'm changing hands and stuff, it's so my finger doesn't fall off, basically, is how we're doing this today. But yeah, good to see you all. Good to see you all again. Good to be back on the show and excited for some Thursday night football. And it looks like, Jay, I'll actually make it in time for it now, which didn't look like it was going to be the case about 2-3 hours ago. So that's good. I'll be sleeping in my own bed tonight, which is nice.
First, hi, Mom, because she's in the comments. Second,
hey, Jay's mom.
It's 70 degrees here right now, which is, I forget what it is in Celsius, but that's your favorite temperature. So,
like sick, like
40,
18, 20. Nice.
20. That's what it is. 20.
20.
Yeah, 20.
20. Lovely. I'm very jealous. I'm very jealous of you. We've actually got the Northern Lights going on above the UK right now. Unfortunately, not above the train station that I'm in. So all of my friends on Instagram are currently looking at the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights, and I am looking at Doncaster, which is not known for being particularly pretty. Definitely not as pretty as the Northern Lights. But Jay, I tell you what was pretty. I tell you what was really pretty. The Vikings defense playing against the Jets in London this week. I think that was definitely pretty.
Yeah, let's talk about some of this Jet stuff because Robert Saleh gets fired. They can be in first place if they win on, what do they play? Monday night. He gets fired. They're saying that the offense looked like shit, but zero credit goes to the fact that they played Denver, they played Minnesota, and they played San Francisco defenses. And then Aaron Rodgers getting a lot of heat, which from Ian Rappaport to Adam Schefter, they're like Aaron Rodgers had nothing to do with the firing and did not know ahead of time. So it's a wild time to be a Jets fan right now. Wild time.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, is it not always a crazy time to be a Jets fan? Is this not the kind of reason? Is this not kind of what they've done? I think it's just total madness to me. The one thing that's working in New York right now, it's the one game where Sam Darnold hasn't looked great, right, on the weekend. And I mean,
a great defense.
Yeah, exactly. He played against a great defense because Robert Saleh put together a great defense. Now, do I think Robert Saleh deserves to be a head coach in the NFL? Jury's out. I'm not 100% sure. But I damn right know that he's not the problem in New York right now to fire mid-season. That's
well,
what.
The funny
that's what
thing is, that was going to be one of my overreactions. The Jets need to fire Rob Saleh, and I had to switch it because they actually fired Robert Saleh. But yeah. I will say, the best thing they did was demote Hackett from calling plays. I think that'll help. I just think it's wild, but we come to find out it's a lot to do with Woody Johnson used to be the ambassador to fucking Britain under Trump, and he lost in front of his billionaire British friends to Sam Darnold, and he wasn't the one who hired Robert Saleh because he was away from the team. It was his brother who hired Robert Saleh because he was off being ambassador. But I don't know when this started, but now Woody Johnson wants to be referred to as Ambassador Johnson, which the fuck is that? I don't know, but okay.
Let's be real as well here for a second. Being an ambassador to the UK right now, not the best job in the entire world. Like,
what the fuck do they really do though? Like,
yeah, why? There's no scheduled train to be on this platform that I've sat down in, and one is just pulled up. So sorry for the background noise, if you can hear that, everyone.
It's the Hogwarts Express.
It's definitely not. It is a northern train line that looks like it just came out of 1932. Like, it is horrendous. Not steam powered.
Wait,
not steam.
Maybe my geography's wrong, but isn't Scotland north of you?
Yeah, but you have like Northern England as well. Like, you know, like that's what
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
you ain't at King's Cross. That's all I know.
No. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, the company is called Northern Train Lines. Okay. that's what I meant. So yeah, sorry for the train background noise, everybody. But yeah,
I hear it. I think you're fine.
Oh, cool, awesome. It's just my brain that's going to get scrambled. Then that's great. Yeah, the ambassador job to the UK is dumb. Getting owners who use their team as ego things. Like, I'm not in the mindset of a billionaire. I don't know what to do. But like, I thought billionaires were meant to want to make money, and it seems the best way to make money in the NFL is to win fucking games. Unless you're Jerry Jones, who did make money in the NFL from the Cowboys winning fucking games early on, and now is like all good.
We're revenue sharing in the NFL. You don't have to win games to make money. Now it's a toy. It's I got something only 31 other, and actually only 30 other people have, because the Packers are owned by the city. So like there's only 31 owners. They get to wave that around. You know, it's like a big dick contest.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous situation for them to be in. Robert Saleh, I don't think, is the problem. And I think that was shown by Nathaniel Hackett has now been demoted from play calling, right? Now, what does Nathaniel Hackett do in the Jets? Like, why is he there? Is he literally there to stroke Aaron Rodgers' ego? That would be the one criticism that I have at Aaron Rodgers, if that's the reason that he's there.
What about, I mean, he could be like, they moved up the quarterback coach, so Nathaniel Hackett could take over that. What's up, Sam K? And I said a big dick contest. That's what I said. Like a pissing contest. They all billionaires whipping their dicks out to see which one's bigger. No Diddy. Fuck it. Full Diddy. Bring on the baby oil. Full Diddy. Let's just do it. Freak off Thursday. But
yeah, so
I actually think there's blame to go around, and the players are the least of the blame, including Aaron Rodgers, right? Like the players are the least of it. It is such a functional, like, setup from ownership down that, but people seem to love Ulbrich. I think that's his name, Ulbrich, whatever. They call him Coach Brick. I like that. It's easier. Coach Brick. And he used to be a player. So that's something that might help, right? Because I have no idea who this dude is, like, as a coach. Zero. But you always get that little charge, no oil. You always get this little charge from having an interim head coach. But this is a team that I think could sustain that charge, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I think what it sounds like to me has happened is that Rob Saleh, that's the diesel engines firing up, cracking. What it sounds like to me has happened is that Rob Saleh has fallen out with the GM in New York. And that's kind of happening.
And Woody Johnson, I guess, didn't like him from the start because he didn't hire him. So that's always a problem. Hey, Robert Saleh will be a defensive coordinator next year without a question.
Yeah, definitely. And if it's my opinion on who's most at fault for what's going on in New York at the moment, it is possibly the GM for the roster build and things like that. The way that the roster got built, it did look haphazard at the start of the season, which is a bit like, oh, we're trying to mince together an offensive line with kind of broken pieces and mix together this offensive line again. With pieces like Tyron Smith, who's a great left tackle. We could still use him in Dallas, but he won't play more than 13 games. Other pieces on their offensive line who are kind of the castaways from other teams. And Aaron Rodgers was getting beat up like in that game. And the Vikings seem to beat everybody up with the way that they're playing at the moment. So it's not necessarily a huge criticism on the Jets or anything like that. It's just the roster build seems a bit wrong. The way that they approach roster building is a bit strange, in my opinion. Obviously, he whiffed on a left tackle. He whiffed on a quarterback in Zach Wilson. Like, most guys would lose their job after that. And he got saved by Aaron Rodgers.
Did they whiff on Zach Wilson? Probably. But we thought it looked like they whiffed on Sam Darnold, and now everybody's questioning that. Was he just a product of a shitty environment? Zach Wilson in a good spot right now in Denver to sit and learn. Maybe we see a resurgence in a year or two on a different team from Zach Wilson. Who knows? But I do know that it's a shit show. It's a dumpster fire in New York with the Jets. So I think it starts from Woody Johnson down to the GM, down to the fucking coaches, and the players are the least to blame. So maybe we'll see what happens moving forward from here. But I do love, and I won't get into it, but go watch Aaron Rodgers' interview yesterday. He threw a lot of love to Brian Flores' scheme, and he broke down what makes it so hard to deal with. And he broke it down way better than I ever could. So it was very impressive. Also, to all those people who thought Aaron Rodgers was not going to take blame, took 100% blame, said I played like shit, it's on me, like that kind of shit. So that's something that we'll watch moving forward with the Jets.
Yeah, and I don't think in that game he necessarily needs to take 100% of the blame. I don't think the blame is 100% on him. It is quite difficult to play quarterback when you're getting asked to throw 42 times a game against a pass rush that's coming from everywhere. It's not just the normal four-man pass rush and the Brian Flores. It's we'll only rush four men, but it might be three linebackers and one DN. You know, they can be from all over the place. It could all be
from one side also. Like Rodgers was breaking it down how he makes the offensive line make decisions that are uncomfortable, and that is where it comes to. But he broke it down so football savvy that there's no way I could because like Aaron Rodgers, no matter what anybody thinks of him, is intelligent and a great speaker. So like the way he did it, I wouldn't do it any justice. But
yeah, of course. So yeah, we broke down the Jets there. Are you a little worried about some of the shakiness of the Vikings there? Because the Jets did have a chance to win that game.
Well, no, because to me, not every game's going to go like the other games. Like, to me, this just showed the Vikings figured out how to win in a game they weren't playing their best. This is the stuff that I think builds character in a team, especially a team that really cares about each other, that when they get into these spots later on, this is going to actually be beneficial to them. Like I had said about what fucking game was it previous where they almost gave up the game. I don't remember, but it was a good building experience. Like, I don't know why I just went blank. Was it San Francisco they almost let back in? I don't remember. But all this, I think you come out with a win after having to grind it out, be gritty, and figure out how to win. Don't get me wrong, though. That game might go different if Aaron doesn't throw that pick six.
Yeah, and just a reminder that Aaron Rodgers doesn't really throw interceptions. Like that Minnesota Vikings defense had them confused. He had him confused enough to be throwing interceptions.
That defense has allowed 8 touchdowns and has 11 interceptions in 5 games.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's an immense defense, and the offense is playing complementary football. Yeah, the offense is playing complementary football as well. Like, I don't think the offense played particularly well. I don't think it played particularly badly. I think it just came up against a really good defense, did what it had to do to win. Now, what the problem is for the Vikings going forward, the special teams is what is getting these games close, right? The reason that the Packers were even close last week and they weren't really close. Like a lot of that was prevent defense and taking far.
That's the game I was trying to remember too, by the way. But in the Packers game, they had a guy out there who had never received a punt before because of an injury. I don't think they'll ever make that happen again, and that's why Myles Gaskin is back on the active roster.
Yeah, obviously got lucky with the ricochet off the back on the punt return. That looked like it was a fumble as well. That's not luck necessarily. Like maybe that was the reason that he fumbled it because it hits off the other guy, right? But then it's really stupid play of taking out the standing leg of the kicker. That's just a dumb play. That's just dumb football on special teams. And that'll get you killed. I'm
with Aaron Rodgers, though. Aaron Rodgers even said that wasn't roughing. That was running into and should have never been 15 yards, and he couldn't believe it. He didn't even knock him over. He didn't even knock him over.
Yeah, yes, I 100% agree with you. I think giving the referee the opportunity to make the decision, but you're a football player. You're going after the ball. You're trying to get and
we've had a couple blocks, so I think that makes them go a little harder. I think it's a learning experience, but yes.
Yeah. I think the special teams maybe is the one side of the ball that needs to turn out. What was that train? That was like the loudest thing I've ever heard. Did you get a lot of background noise?
I didn't hear it.
Cool, right? The reason that I was the reason that I was stuttering is that I just couldn't hear myself think at all. But okay,
you kept going like this too. Here's your phone. You kept going.
I kept on going like, what is he saying? What's he saying now? Yeah, you guys have got a lovely view of the wall behind me, some lovely red brick. But and I think the Vikings played a great game in terms of like actually getting the win done, as you said, in a difficult game as well. That's in London as well, so like a difficult game to go out and play there. Obviously, what did you make of the London spectacle this year? Fan?
Okay,
not
so
a fan?
I've always told you, weird is not the right word, but I don't know a better word. It's always weird to me to see different uniforms in the stadium, right? Because you probably if there wasn't all 32 teams, there was 20 teams jerseys in that stadium.
Yeah, I want to go.
There was a sea of fucking purple. There was a sea of fucking purple, and I love that the Brits got up and scolded. I love it. They were scolding.
With a well, we got taken over by the OG Vikings, man. You know,
right? But dudes in Chiefs jerseys were doing the skull. You know what I mean? That was wild.
Yeah. That is fun. I think this was probably the best London game that I can think of in terms of the actual matchup that was there and in terms of the actual atmosphere as well. And I think it is because like the Vikings fans took over. Like I think that was like, you saw all 32 teams out there, but like only spatterings of each jersey.
There was quite a few Jets fans too.
Yeah, there loads of Jets fans in the UK as well. But as before in other games that I've seen, and I bet you will see it. I bet you'll see it this Sunday as well. It is obvious that it's 32 jerseys in there. You know, like it is obvious. Yeah.
But won't there be a huge Jags fan base there? I honestly think you guys are going to get two great games in a row because I think the Bears-Jags is going to be a fun game.
Yeah, I think with
to watch it.
Yeah, I think. We'll talk about it when we come to the show. When we come to it, in the show, because I want to ask you what advantage you think the Jags have as playing in London a lot of the time. But I don't know. The Bears are a huge fan base over here as well. Like, the Jags play the most games over here. I think they're probably a lot of Brits' second team. But nobody fell in love with the Jacksonville Jaguars before they started playing in London. So the only people who fell in love with the Jacksonville Jaguars are the people who fell in love with American football 10 years ago when they first started playing in London. So they're everyone's second team, I think. I think you come in another team's jersey, but maybe like loads of Jags fans as well.
My question for you is, because you're in a situation you're in, do you want me to run through the like what we're going through, or do you got it covered?
I think I've got the next one covered because the next one that we were going to react is to my Dallas Cowboys actually getting the fucking win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. In Pittsburgh, they go out there, they make the win. And Jay, I think they might have solved the problem at left tackle. And it might have come down to Guyton having to go out of the game, right? And it was what I said at the start of the week, whereas let's have a little reshuffle of the offensive line, see what happens, put Tyler Smith out at left tackle, have the centers out there, and we'll play Guyton at right tackle, and hopefully Guyton will come back this week and he might move to right tackle. They won't do that, but that's what I would like to see. Because I don't think that Dak was overly pressured in the second half. In the first half, TJ Watt was having a game as always, but in the second half, I thought Dak was good, and that game I think looked a lot closer than it actually was as well. I think we outgained them by 200 yards or something like that, and then couldn't get it done in the red zone. So, Jay, my question for you is, what did you make of that Cowboys game? What are your biggest takeaways from the Cowboys-Steelers?
Dak saved your ass at the end. That's my first takeaway. Yeah. Dak saved your ass. This isn't just against you. The refs really need to figure out, or I need to figure out, why the refs refused to call a holding on TJ Watt. It happened last year too. I don't know why they refused to call holding on TJ Watt, but for some reason they do. I don't know why. But I do think your line looked better.
Sorry. There was a stretch of games where it was the same with Micah last year.
Dak didn't have his best game, but Dak played his best game, if that makes sense. Like, because Dak, when it needed to get done, just said, fuck it, I got this, get out of my way. And that's kind of what I'm used to from Dak in years past, is when, because you get 12 wins every year. There's games where Dak's just like, shut the fuck up, everybody, get out of my way, I got this.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I was watching that guy, and do you know what? We've said it a few times this year. There are certain quarterbacks that when they get the ball in the situation in the 2-minute drill at the end of the game, do you know what? I knew that Prescott was going to drive down there and score that touchdown. He got the ball in the hands, and I was like, cool, Dak's going to score this touchdown. It was 5 to 6 in the morning for me, and I was still there, watching it. The cricket started literally 5 minutes later in Pakistan, so just a full circle of sport for me. That was awesome. But the longest day in NFL history as well, with the game starting in London and then the game not finishing in Pittsburgh. But Dak got the late win, and that's what Cowboys fans who like Dak Prescott see. That's what we see when we look at Dak Prescott. He doesn't have the best games, and he is sometimes at fault for having to dig the Cowboys out of those holes, because the red zone was awful for us. Like, on Sunday night, the red zone was terrible. We had 3 turnovers all in the red zone, and it's shocking, really. But when it comes down to it, Dak Prescott can just drive you down the field, and his intangibles take over. But Jay, what do you make of Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb's relationship at the moment? What do you think of the way that those two are playing so far this season, and a few of the words that were said in that game?
I think those two are fucking boys, and I think that's just competitive, like, shit. I don't think there's any, like, serious turmoil between Dak and CeeDee. I think it's competitive juices, and I think, as weird as it sounds, I know they've played together for years, but I think missing the offseason, it hurt.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think missing the offseason hurts.
Look, it took Chase until last week to figure out how to play football again. Like,
the kind of receiver that CeeDee Lamb is as well. He's not your classic just one on the outside. He plays absolutely everywhere and runs every single route. So all of those routes take a bit of getting used to, and a bit of like making sure the timing's spot on. And when the offensive line isn't playing as well as it has been in previous years, and those kind of things, then the timing's got to be a little bit faster, and they're just getting used to it. And also, teams can put 3 people on CeeDee Lamb's routes. They can have one on man, one underneath, one on the top, because they know that we still don't have a run game. They're very aware that we don't have a run game.
I'm a true believer that CeeDee Lamb is either the second or third best receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think all-round wide receiver, being able to do every single job. I think maybe the third. I think I would take obviously Justin Jefferson ahead of him, because the guy's amazing.
That's me, but him and Jamar Chase do different things well. Yeah. So, like, you could argue either way. I would probably put Chase above him, but I'm not mad at somebody who says CeeDee's a better receiver than Jamar Chase.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the Cowboys might have got themselves on the right track last night. Like, that game felt big. was a game in Pittsburgh against the #1 defense in the league, a team that rushes the ball heavy, like the kind of team that the Cowboys shouldn't be playing well against, and they got the win, and I think they look good. And also, they got the win without Micah Parsons, without D-Law, without those guys, and I honestly think they benefited from not having Micah Parsons in that game this week. I know you'll see that note on the question.
Well, I just was going to say to you, I haven't paid a lot of attention this week to anything outside of rewatching stuff in the Robert Saleh shit because I've been busy. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Cowboys would have got it because of the Cowboys. Justin Fields gets put on the bench.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking that as well. I don't think they will. I think a last minute loss against the Cowboys. And I don't think it was down to Justin Fields. That game, like, they couldn't run the ball. Basically, what the Cowboys did, and what I mean by the Cowboys benefited by not having Micah Parsons, is they all just had to play their role. It wasn't all just Micah the superstar is gonna Parsons the superstar is just gonna make some crazy athletic play. It was, oh yeah, run defense for me, and I don't know, obviously I'm not a defensive guru or anything, but run defense, especially for me, is about attitude and sticking to your job, right? It's about sticking to your job. It's not about superstar plays. That one's gonna be loud. It's not about superstar plays. It's about sticking to your job, sticking to your allocation. And Micah Parsons, for the first few weeks of the season, especially that Baltimore Ravens game, blew every single contain that he had to do for like a long period of time. So I think they all benefited in like just sitting in a bit of structure. I don't think I'd blame it on Justin Fields, that loss. I don't think he played particularly badly. I think I would give him another shot again this week. I think they lost against the Cowboys. Are a more talented team than the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Cowboys should have beaten them by a lot more. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense didn't do much either to help them in that game. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Jay, what do you think, Justin Fields or Russell Wilson going into this week?
I'm praying it's Justin Fields because that's my fantasy quarterback. But I could see them saying, like, let's see what Russell can do, because we did see that Justin Fields only had one big boy football game. So, I mean.
Yeah. We know that Justin Fields has his limitations. We're very aware of that. So maybe we see what Russell Wilson can do. But if it's me, I'm sticking with the guy who's like, he's not played. I don't think he's played badly. And I think they found a winning style of football. It just relies on really great defense. And I think the Cowboys beat them in I think the Cowboys made their defense look bad. I think just red zone turnovers is the reason it wasn't a blowout. The only reason that game lasted until 6 a.m. was because of those 3 red zone turnovers, which was stupid throws, miscommunications as well. That's not the Steelers defense making the plays. That's Dak throwing 2 ridiculously either miscommunicated or just stupid and terrible throws. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that one. But Jay, what we are sure about is what I think might be your favorite segment in football, and I enjoy how excited you get, and is my favorite segment outside of GMJ, which we're leaving for Sunday because of the situation that we're in and the fact that my train gets in like 20 minutes that I need to be on. So GMJ will be on Sunday. But Jay's favorite is Overreactions, Jay. And this is week 6 is Overreactions. So Jay, go for your Overreactions. I'll just remind myself of what mine were.
Okay. I'm not even sure this is an overreaction, but it needed to be stated. The neurologist in the Bills game should be fired and never allowed to be on the sideline again after allowing a knocked out Josh Allen back in the game.
Yeah. Sorry. That was my biggest. I hated that. That was that was awful. Like, I was watching that and it was like, you can see that he's knocked out. Like it's not he's taking a little bump to the head. He didn't know where the fuck he was. And it wasn't just that. It was like, he was out. He was gone. Like, if that was a boxing match, that'd be 10 and out.
Look at the fact that how bad he played when he came back in and how bad they mishandled. That was an overtime game. You run that ball at the end 3 times that you make them burn all 3 of their timeouts, and then they have no chance of getting into field goal range.
Yeah, but the play calling. The play calling also really didn't help. Like at the end of that game, like doing 3.
But he made 3 bad decisions too. If you watch, and those Josh Allen doesn't usually make horrible decisions. Like he throws bad passes sometimes, but his decision making, not besides running once in a while, isn't horrible. And he tried to throw 3 deep balls. It was the weirdest thing. He didn't even try to pick up the first downs.
Yeah, the only time he makes those stupid decisions that they can look like stupid decisions, but makes those stupid throws and bad plays is when he's trying to be Superman and do something crazy at the end of the game there. And he's trying to fit the ball into a hole that he can sometimes do that. Like he can do that. So, but this wasn't it. And it was just crazy. He didn't know where the fuck he was. So yeah, I agree with you. He should be fired. Not necessarily an overreaction, but this one definitely is. Kyle Shanahan won't be coaching the San Francisco 49ers in 3 years' time.
Oh, 3 years. Okay.
2 years.
I was like,
maybe
damn,
two,
where
maybe
are we
three.
going with this? Like
maybe 2, maybe 3 years. I just think it's getting to a point where the 49ers need a break and Kyle Shanahan needs a break. They both need to try something new because it's clearly not working. You know, like it is working. They're doing great, but it's clearly just not getting over the hump, not getting over the top. So
it's funny you say that because one of the things I thought about being an overreaction is, but I didn't go there, is Kyle Shanahan should sign Sam Darnold after this season to be a starting quarterback, but I didn't go there.
That would be crazy. What I thought you were going to say was he should sign Robert Saleh tomorrow to fix the defense and get back as his defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I actually heard those rumors, and then I heard Robert Saleh and his family are taking a long vacation, and he's not going to coach this year. But there's a lot of teams that could have brought him in as a consultant to help out, and I think would have. Robert Saleh is very respected around the league as a coordinator, and he will definitely be a defensive coordinator next year, and he will change a defense. And if you watch, when he was with the 49ers, Saleh was very rah-rah, energetic, loving. Yeah. Like, the life has been sucked out of that man in New York, though. Like, he is having – like, it reminds me of Remember the Titans when he's like, football's fun. He goes, football's fun. He's like, zero fun, sir. Like, that's what it reminds me of. Like, when he,
100%. Jay, your second overreaction.
All right, Mike, I got to pull this up. Oh, Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, right. I like it. Playing right now.
Since 1970, he's the first quarterback. 1,000 passing yards, 300 rushing yards with 75% completions.
Do you know what? He's actually so good that he's hurting his fantasy points because he's playing so well at for the first 3 quarters that he doesn't do anything in the fourth. That's what I've realized. But yeah, he's playing so fucking well. Great quarterback, and it's exciting to have him in the NFC East, to have to play against him all the time. Great.
I have him as one of my quarterbacks in one of my leagues too.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's so much fun. And it was definitely a reach where I took him in the thing, but I was like, I just need to have him, and I know I'm not going to get him in my next pick. So it's not a reach now. It's not a reach if it works. My second overreaction, Jay, is that Daniel Jones will be the quarterback of the New York Giants going into 2026. He's just going to play well enough.
I said that a couple weeks ago. He is going to put him in a spot. Yeah.
Till fucking 2026. He had a great game against the Seattle Seahawks. Played some really good football. And that'll just annoy the shit out of everybody because they're gonna win like 7 games this year. Like they're not gonna. Where are they gonna draft if they win 6 or 7 games? You know. All right.
My third overreaction is the Ravens are the best team in the AFC.
Okay. So I think the Ravens are slightly shaky, and that really leads up well to the Commanders versus Ravens game, which we'll be talking about on Monday, and I think is one of the stranger point spreads of the entire we'll be talking about on Sunday. But yeah, that's going to be a great game. I think they're a little bit shaky, but I can see fucking why they've started it. That run game is lethal.
Let's remember the AFC is pretty weak.
Yeah, and the fact that if you have a shaky defense, do you know what you want?
A good run
game? Hold the ball for the entire fucking game, which is what they'll be able to do with Derrick Henry now that they've finally worked out how to use him properly. Jay, my final overreaction of the week is that Mike McDaniels might be the most overhyped coach in the NFL.
I'm not sure that's an overreaction, but I'm with you because they don't look the same without Tua, and maybe Tua needs a lot more love than people were giving Tua.
Yeah, maybe Mike McDaniel's defense is really difficult to learn. Maybe it's some savant shit, right? Like, okay, fine. But you need to be able to coach players who don't get you on that level. And where are the touches for Tyreek Hill? Where are the touches for Jalen Waddle? He doesn't bring that. And that, everybody, is our overreactions to week 5. Now moving on into weeks. Oh, sorry, Jay, go on.
Wait, quick. Before you go up, if you go back to when Coach Clapp was with the fucking Cowboys, he figured out how to make with Cooper Rush. You look to Shanahan, he makes it work with whatever quarterback. You look to KOC, he makes it work with the quarterback. There's more coaches out. LaFleur wins with fucking their backup quarterback, right?
Malik Willis,
Willis. Like, coaches need to figure out, and McDaniel's not doing it.
And do you know what they didn't have? A weapon like Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane in the back. Devon Achane getting injured in the first quarter must have hurts the Miami Dolphins offense quite a bit. But Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, they have Jalen Wright as well. Sorry?
OBJ?
OBJ was out there as well, playing his first game for the Dolphins. So, you know, Mike McDaniels, if you're an offensive savant, you've got to find a way to get those guys touches. So, that's week 5 in the books, Jay. And do you know what, Jay? We had a really good week 5 in terms of our picks. By the way, I just want to let people know that. And we're moving towards our picks now. Jay, we're going to react to Thursday. We're going to preview our Thursday night football, which is the 49ers against the Seattle Seahawks. Can the 49ers get back on track here after their loss to the Cardinals and their 2-3 start to the season? Jay, what's wrong with the 49ers right now?
Yeah, they're definitely out of sync, and they don't look very 49er-ish. I think this is the snapback game. I do. So I am hesitantly taking the 49ers minus the 3.5. But that's also because after watching the Seahawks, I'm not sure they're as good as they were thought to be coming out.
Yeah, so I put the Seahawks in my top 10 of my power rankings last week, which I don't think was a terrible place to put them at the start of the season. And then I went and actually had a look at who they've beat. And it was the Patriots, the Broncos, and I can't remember the other team that they beat. But they do have a solid defense. They have a really good defense. But I think it's the fight-back game for the 49ers. I don't think Kyle Shanahan's ever lost back-to-back games for 5 years or something like that. So I doubt they'll do that again. Give me the 49ers with the 3.5. I really do see this fight-back game for them. And what I think Seattle need to start doing is realizing that they have one of the better wide receiver rooms as well, and just rely on that a little bit, and just feel free to throw it up to DK Metcalf, because once you start doing that, you open up Jackson Smith and Jigba and Tyler Lockett underneath as well. Like, just feel free, take a few deep bombs early on in the game. The 49ers defense, I think, might be their problem in not holding together. So see how well it holds together if you go after them early and see where you get to. But yeah, I think the 49ers have got this one in the bag, and I think their defense will actually come to play this week, because Seattle's offense has looked like the Seattle offensive line made me feel okay about the Dallas offensive line against the Giants, in the same way that the Bills made me feel good about the Dallas run game when they played against the Ravens, you know? So yeah.
I won't give you the whole story, but my wife and I saw some wild shit happen in public the other day. Right. And it made me look at her and go, that family makes my family feel a lot less dysfunctional.
Exactly. That's what I think. And let's be real, the 49ers, no matter how bad their defense is playing, always have a good defensive line. So I think Gino might be running for his life in this one. And Jay, because of how early the UK games are, sorry that we're rushing through this a bit, guys. My train leaves in 10 minutes time, so we're just skipping through this a little bit, but come back and watch us on Sunday for all of our in-depth analysis and all of those things. Our London game on Sunday morning is the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Chicago Bears. Jay, how much of an advantage do Jacksonville have from playing in London a lot of the time? Their record is currently 6-5 when they play in London. The Bears are 1-1.
The Vikings are 4-0. But anyway, I mean, for the guys who are still there, I'm sure it helps. Like, they're used to going over there. They're used to the travel and being there. I think that's part of the issue too, is like when teams aren't used to it, it becomes a problem. And playing over there almost made me take the Jags in this game, but I am going to go with the Bears minus the 1.5.
Yeah, sorry, I'm on the move because a really loud train just pulled in next to me. But yeah, I agree with you on that one. This is Trevor Lawrence's now. I think it's like his 4th, maybe 5th game in London, like for Trevor Lawrence, and obviously he's not been playing in the NFL for that long. And it's his 4th or 5th game in London. I think he's the quarterback that's been to London the most. Maybe Blake Bortles.
They played 2 games there last year or the year before. I don't remember.
Yeah, but they played 2 games there last year, 2 games there the year before, and 2 games there this year. Okay. So he'll play his 6th game next week as well in London. So I think they should be getting used to those surroundings now. I think it's something that should start to feel like a home game for them. I think when teams are trying to work out the travel and things like that, I think the Jags should have that worked out. Caleb Williams is first London game. It's obviously his rookie season, but Caleb Williams has started to look good, no? Like, is he starting to play good football?
The Bears' defense is real.
Yeah, I think Bears head coach, Eberflus. I think Eberflus, he'll be a defensive coordinator in the NFL, 100%. I don't think he's head coach material when you've got a young rookie QB. I think he's 100% a defensive coordinator. Do you know what? I think he's fair enough to be a head coach in the NFL, just not for where the Bears are right now and with the Bears quarterback situation and things like that.
Yeah, so if you had an established quarterback, it'd be different, but he's never had an established quarterback, so why the Bears hired him still doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that one. In this game, the Bears are 1.5. Is it the Bears that are 1.5 point favorites? Yeah, it's the Bears that are 1.5 point favorites in this game. The Jags had a really great game last week, and I think it's. I think the Jags are better than they've shown all season. I think they showed that they might be one of the worst teams in the NFL throughout the year, but I think they're way better than that. The familiarity with London. Caleb Williams has just started to get his feet now to make him go to London instead of Soldier Field. Maybe a big call for them. Give me the Jags in this game at +1.5. It's going to feel like a home game for them.
I'm not mad at you. I almost took the Jags, but something in my gut just says go with the Bears. Because
I like when we have a little bit of difference. It makes more fun when we have a little
I only think it's because I think Doug Peterson lost that team. I think now when he talks, he's like Charlie Brown's mom. Wah, 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 wah. So.
It's the Jags have one more game in London, then it's the bye week, and I think that could be when we say goodbye to Doug Peterson, another coach. Jay, just before we go and we do our best picks of the week, just want to let everybody know Spencer Rattler has been called up for the New Orleans Saints. He's going to play, and Drake May is going to play for the Patriots as well. That makes 6 starting QBs this year.
You heard it here first. Spencer Rattler will play better than Drake May.
I agree with you. I think Spencer Rattler will play. It's easier to play better when you're on a better team, so that will definitely help. Yeah,
that's part of it. Help. But yeah. I think Spencer Rattler might be a real pro quarterback, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think Spencer Rattler might come and take Derek Carr's job in the next couple of years?
No, only because I think once they kept him this year, he gave him guaranteed money next year, but I'm not positive on that.
Yeah, I remember reading that as well. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch Spencer Rattler. I'm way more excited to watch Spencer Rattler than I am to watch Drake May.
Me too.
And not because of Drake May necessarily, just because I don't think he should be playing. There's no way that he should be playing. And we'll speak more about that on Sunday. So make sure to tune in for our Sunday pregame show. We do it every single Sunday. Jay, should we send them out with our final segment, which is our best bets of the week? This is where me and Jay pick our 3 best bets of the week. Jay, you go first.
All right. And Dan Orlovsky said that Spencer Rattler, May should sit 2 years. That's what he said. But
at least one.
So I'm taking the Commanders +5.5 versus the Ravens, even though I think the Ravens win that game.
Do you know what I have the Commanders at on DraftKings, Jay? +7.
I'll take the 7.
I'll take the 7 as well. My first is the Commanders +7 as well. I think the Ravens defense has been shaky. Jaden Daniels has been amazing. And I'm not saying that the Commanders are going to beat the Ravens, but they'll be within 7. I don't think they've shown anything to say that they wouldn't be. Jay, go on to your second because I agree with you on the Commanders.
Steelers -3.5 over the Raiders.
Yeah, that's a nice one. I looked at
that
as well.
-3 I have, but I don't know what you have. Sorry, I have -2.
I've only got my 3 at the moment.
Okay.
But, yeah. That's one that I looked at as a nice close game. I don't know where the Steelers are, so I'm not going to put them as my best bet. But yeah, the Raiders have looked very shaky. Jay, I'm going to take the Browns at +9.5 against the Eagles. I think +9.5 against the Eagles. Like the Eagles,
I looked at that.
They just haven't looked like a well-oiled machine. Like it's not like they're not going to beat the Browns. Like I think they'll beat the Browns. You need to be a well-oiled machine to get a double-digit win in the NFL, which is what this is basically asking for. So +9.5, I'll take the Browns. I don't like cheering for Deshaun Watson, but it's against the Eagles, so I'll do my best. All right, Jay, your third pick.
Bengals -3.5 versus the Giants.
Yeah, definitely. I looked at that one as well and thought that looks too good to be true. I think the way that the Giants are trying to play football makes it difficult to beat them by big margins, but -3.5 is... I'll be taking that on Sunday, but Jay, what I'm taking as my third best bet tonight is the Broncos at +2.5 because I think they'll win that game. I think they're better. I think under Bo Nix and Sean Payton. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I just wrote down the Broncos +2.5.
Oh, not a problem. Go ahead. Say what you're saying. I'll look it up.
Okay, cool. I think with the way it's the Chargers, isn't it? It's against the Chargers. Yeah. Right. I think the Chargers. Yep. The Chargers haven't shown us anything to suggest that they're a good football team really this year. Like they haven't got any pop on offense. Their defense is good, but like they're just going to run the ball the entire time. But Bo Nix and Sean Payton have looked really good for the past 2 games. I know Bo Nix only threw for 77 yards in a 10-9 win against the Jets, but that was in a really shitty weather rain game against Aaron Rodgers, and he looked good and serviceable, and then looked great this weekend. So give me the Broncos, and I think their defense might be one of the best in the NFL that no one's talking about. So I'll take the Broncos in that one. And Jay, that's it for another week. My train is about to arrive. My hands can stop freezing off. Send us out as you always do.
I'm going to send you out saying make sure you tune in Sunday because I am leaning the Chargers, so you will see who I actually take. We'll break down everything else. Thanks for watching. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.